So, the internet is in a frenzy because, well, it always is. But specifically, the attention today is coming from rapper Megan Thee Stallion. Apparently, Megan has released a documentary about her life, and some of the moments must have been from the time of her and Tory Lanez relationship, and when it was being discussed like every day in the midst of what I say was one of the most popular trials in the hip-hop community as of recently. It was a crazy thing to see. It was like, I've never seen so many men and women just on completely different sides when it came to like hip-hop artists. It was an insane thing to watch. Dedicated Tory fans telling Megan fans they're dumb and you can't trust her and all that. And then Megan fans saying he's a short guy and he has, anger issues and Megan was too good for him. All this, all that, whatever. Essentially, both fan bases having incredibly strong, fans, and they're going to back their favorite artist because that's what they do. But again, it was a very divided time in hip hop. During that time, a couple of questions were always posed. Did Tory do it or didn't he? And is Megan telling the full truth? Because according to the most loyal of Tory Lanez fans, Megan Thee Stallion has a complex history with the full truth. And typically when they say something like this, they typically have an argument in their back pocket. And that argument is from the very beginning that Megan Thee Stallion lied. Because Megan Thee Stallion did in fact lie to police about Tory firing the weapon at all. In the first place, she did do this. Y'all remember at first when that whole thing was going down, like initially, like the beginning steps of this entire thing, at first, it wasn't supposed to be a shooting. It was supposed to be Megan like stepped in glass shards. That's why she had to go to the hospital, and her foot and everything that became a meme or whatever. But yeah, apparently she told cops that Tory didn't fire the weapon. There was no weapon fired, whatever. The case was just murky from the very beginning, and her testimony was a bit shaky from the beginning. But Megan has since said that all of that was to protect Tory Lanez, being a young black man, a bunch of police officers there. She just didn't feel like he was in safe hands. She wanted to protect him because despite what actually happened, she didn't want anything bad to happen to him, which that is admirable. And I respect that, honestly. But even that has divided the two fan bases on if that's true or if that's not true. But regardless, if you believe it or don't believe it, I assume this entire conversation, this entire case was just ended after the trial ended, like most things do. But I was wrong. But looking back at the trial in December 2022, after a highly publicized trial, Tory Lanez was found guilty on 3 charges, including assault with a firearm, negligent discharge of a firearm, and carrying a loaded firearm in a vehicle. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison in August 2023. And with this result of the case, of course, Tory fans all over the world thought that was unfair and unjustified, him getting 10 years in prison. They were sad about that. Honestly, maybe sad isn't the right word. They were more mad about that. It fueled a ton of anger amongst Tory Lanez fans, and more anger was pointed in the direction of Megan Thee Stallion. The Lanez case has drawn significant media attention, raising discussions around issues of violence against women and the complexities of celebrity culture. Despite his legal challenges, he continues to have an impact on the music scene, still trying to drop music when he can, though his future remains uncertain as he serves his sentence. Tory is currently behind bars, still claiming his innocence. He still claims that he had nothing to do with this. He did not have anything to do with that weapon being fired in that car that fateful day, and how his trial was most notably corrupt from the very beginning. He says that the judge that worked on his trial has close ties with Roc Nation, which Megan Thee Stallion is associated with. But in today's news, that very documentary I mentioned earlier, Megan openly admits to lying in her highly publicized interview with Gayle King. In her interview with Gayle King, this was the question she was referencing.
What was the nature of your relationship with Tory Lanez? Because he has led people to believe that it was a sexual relationship, that it was that you two were dating? What was the nature
We
of
were
your...
not dating. We
What was
were
the-
really close. We were friends. We hung out like every day. And his mom passed too. So when I felt like we were bonding over that. And
Did you have an intimate relationship with him?
like sexual?
Yeah. Megan, did you have a sexual relationship with Tory Lanez? Yes, that's my question.
I didn't have a sexual relationship with Tory.
But in Megan's documentary, she had this to say about that entire question.
Yes, I lied to Gayle King. I know that you was gonna ask me about that. She was gonna talk about the shooting. Why'd you ask me about Tory? That's not what this is about. Even if I was, I like once, maybe twice on a drunk night. Kept catching me out of my mind.
Sheesh, that looks very bad. But firstly, okay, I'm not about to be the intercourse police because what do I look like? But the internet is of course posing this question. If she lied about something like that, what else could she be lying about? It's just a crazy thing to lie about to me personally. If I have to give my 2 cents, especially when like the world is kind of already, I feel like the world already kind of knew y'all were at least had some sort of romantic relationship. But then again, I'm also torn because as people, we don't need to know everybody's entire business, celebrity or not. These are still people at the end of the day, and they're grown people at that. But the only thing I have to say to Megan Thee Stallion is that as a grown person, you should honestly expect the world to have something to say to you when you kind of lie to millions in an interview about a situation where a ton of the initial argument came down to your first-hand account of what happened. Like, she released the documentary. She knew she was gonna get some sort of backlash. Like, I couldn't imagine that she didn't think this was gonna happen. So yeah, she's smart and she knows what's going on. So I fully expect her to receive this negative attention on the chin, because what could you honestly expect different? But that's all I got for you guys today. I'll see y'all whenever I upload next.